Hello, my name is G-Bear, and welcome back. This is episode 1 of a brand new series that I'm going to start doing. And you can see I'm kind of just standing out here in the middle of this savanna biome. And let's take a quick look at the map here. So this is the server that I play on with friends, where I did my creative world tour and I went around, showed off all of the things that I've built or that we've built together. And you can see this is our area over here to the left. And I'm standing over here in the savanna biome. There's a little bit of a desert up here to the north. There is, I think, some type of forest biome down here. And this is the site of a new project that I'm about to start. If we take a look here, you can see there's a box kind of around this area. And these islands, well, not really islands, but this savanna biome and this forest biome, and possibly some of the ocean, possibly some of the desert, they're going to be part of a big city that I'm going to build. And this is not going to be just any city. This is going to be a futuristic city. It's going to be a little bit different of a build for me. And this is going to be done in creative using world edits. And I'm going to kind of go through the process of how I build things in creative and how I go about doing stuff in world edit. So let's fly up here. We're going to take a look. So the first thing we're going to do here, so I'm going to start with this savanna biome, and we're going to do some terraforming here because cities don't typically have big hills in the middle. That's going to go away. Some of the elevation here is going to go away. So we have a nice, big, even, flat surface to work with. All these holes are going to get filled in. The ravine here is going to get filled in. All of the little ponds of water and lava, the trees, all that's going to go. This village is going to go. And I might join these two together. So if we look back at the map here, I might join these together into one big landmass, join together all of these little islands and things. I'm not exactly sure exactly what I'm going to do, but I want plenty of room to build. Like if we compare this size of this to the city that we've built over here, you can see the city area that we have over here is actually a lot bigger than this. So that's why I kind of claimed this big, huge area, because I could possibly fill in a lot of this water. I still want water. I like the idea of having water all around it, but I might need to take some of this area and turn it into land. So we'll see how it goes. But what I'm going to do first, I'm going to start with the savanna biome here, and we're going to work on leveling that out a little bit. All right, so you can see I now have a big flat landmass to work with. Kind of a funny shape, but that's okay because that's how landmasses tend to be. They're usually not straight lines. Well, there's no straight lines in nature. There's straight lines in Minecraft, but to make it look natural, it needs to be more like this. And there's probably still some more work to do with terraforming around the edges. I took the savanna biome that was up here to the north and the forest that was down here to the south, and I joined them together. There was a river here in between them, or maybe part of the ocean. I'm not sure what it was. And I joined those together and went around the edges, joined in some of the little islands into it, and trying to blend things in and make it look as natural as possible. I also came across this here. I had accidentally destroyed part of this border rail system that goes through this area. And right now I did fix it, and it just goes underneath the land down here. But I might incorporate that into the city somehow. There'll probably be some type of transportation system that goes through here, and we'll incorporate that into the city. Now, if you also look here, you can see these splotches of different color grass. I tried to set the entire thing to jungle because I wanted the bright, vibrant grass, at least for now. I might change that later. But some of the biomes didn't change. It stayed what it was before. I had originally tried to change it to plains, and then I changed my mind to change it to jungle. And so some of this is plains, some of it's forest, some of it's savanna, some of it's river, ocean. There's a bunch of things in here, and we got this splotchy effect. So I'm not too worried about it right now, because we are going to be building over top of a lot of this. And you'll notice I have some little pieces of wool sitting here. I've done a little bit of planning, and you can see we're going to make a cylinder here, 109 blocks in diameter. So let's stand on the middle of this, and we're going to do HCYL, red, wool, 109, 1 block tall. And if we look, we can see we've got a big red circle going all around this area. Let's get that loaded in completely here. All right, now I'm going to go up here to the northern one. And we're going to make a cylinder 95 blocks in diameter. And I am doing odd numbers intentionally. I have learned over the years that it's always best to build things in odd numbers. And I don't know exactly how this city is going to look yet. I don't have a master plan in place just yet, but I figure I better start with odd numbers right away instead of going with even numbers. All right, so we can see we got these two big circles here that pretty much take up the majority of the northern and southern land masses. And so these circles are going to kind of be how these parts of the city are laid out. So if we take a look here, this is going to be the center of the city, and there'll probably be some type of open park or plaza in the middle, and then roads are going to go out from that, and there's going to be circle roads in here as well, and then the same thing over here also. Maybe there'll be a plaza in the middle, maybe there'll be a city or a building. I'll probably have one with a plaza, one with a building. I'm not sure which yet, but that's kind of the idea here, is that these parts of the city are going to be circles, and then outside of that, maybe we'll just do a grid going down, maybe connecting between them and going out in the other directions. So if we take a look on the map here, you can see those circles take up most of this landmass. We do have areas around it and down here to the south. Now, I also have this whole area here, which I mentioned earlier, has been claimed. I might at some point come out and expand out this way. Possibly build like another island out here with maybe like water that goes between them up to this area here, like a harbor. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this. I am going to just start with this area for now and see if I have enough area to build. So that's a good start, and I'm going to do a little bit more layout here of just the roads and what this is going to kind of look like, just to kind of get a rough idea of how everything is going to be laid out here. Okay, so you can see I kind of have something laid out here. I know it doesn't look like much right now, but it's a shape. We've got roads, sort of. So let's come down here and we're going to take a little bit of a closer look. So what I did is I just made a circle around the center here to where I thought would be a good edge for the center of the plaza type area. And then I decided on a road width. And that's a little bit difficult because, I don't want anything that's too big, but you don't want anything that's too small. If I would have only made it 3 blocks wide between giant skyscrapers, that's going to look a little too small. But I also didn't want to make them, well, as big as the roads that we have over here. These are, I don't even know how wide these are. Let's see. Let's count the blocks here. We're going from 2269 through 2284. So that's what, 10, 15 blocks wide. Mine are about half that. I've gone with 7 block wide roads. And the reason I've gone with 7 block wide roads is we got our center, and then we've got one side of the road, other side of the road, and then probably sidewalks. Okay, so those are still very, very small roads, but for the scale that I'm going to be building at, it's going to work okay, because I'm not going to be doing super big buildings. As you can tell from the size of the city blocks here, this city block could have multiple, it will have multiple buildings in it. Possibly one right down here, and then maybe another 2 up there. So these are not going to be extremely wide buildings. That's not what I'm going for with this. I'm not going for the same scale of buildings that we built over here in this city. This one here is like, I don't know, 40 or 50 blocks long. So some of these are very, very big. I'm going to go with something that is a smaller scale than that. And so I don't need as big of a city block to fit in buildings and is roads that are as wide as those that we have over in the other city. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to lay this other circle out pretty much the same as this one. This one is the 95 diameter circle for the outside. This one is the 109 block circle. So it's going to be laid out the same way, I think. Just it's going to be slightly bigger. So I'm going to go do that next. All right, so now we can see I have this southern section all laid out. Just a very, well, not that much bigger. I mean, that one was 95 blocks in diameter. This one was 109 blocks. So it is slightly bigger than that one, but when you look at the two, it actually kind of looks significantly bigger. It's kind of funny how adding just another 14 blocks onto it makes it seem so much bigger. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this area in between the two of them, and I'm going to try to connect the roads together, which is going to be a little bit weird. Not quite sure how I'm going to do that, but these two road systems do need to connect together in some way, and then I'm going to figure out what we're going to do outside of these circles. This might be all I do in this episode, is just kind of plan this out, like what it's going to look like as far as the overall master layout. I don't want to just start building without an idea in mind of how it's going to be laid out, because kind of the way I want to build this city is the center is going to be the very biggest buildings. And then they're going to be a little bit smaller as you come out from there. And then the smallest buildings will be on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and try to connect these two up. So am I a giant standing in the middle of this circle, or am I floating way up above, high up in the sky? It kind of looks like I'm a giant standing in the middle of the circle, doesn't it? As long as I hold still. Once I start moving, then the illusion is lost, but it kind of looks like it. Anyways, let's take a look at what I've got here. So the last you saw, I had the two main circles built without the broken circles around the outside. So what I kind of decided to do is continue with the circle idea so that everything is like all the roads going around the city are still curved in some way. And then all of the connecting circles, or not circles, all the roads, let's go down here and take a look. So like this one here, for example. Okay. So the main roads go, there's 8 roads coming out of the center of the circle. And they are north, south, east, west, northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. But then there's these ones here where this curve ends kind of right here, or these ones end like that. So these roads here, I was trying to figure out, well, how do I do these ones? Like, you can't just have this one road going out here and then these come over and dead end. It wouldn't be enough. Like, this dead ends right here, but it's a very short road, and that's okay. This one's a dead end right there, and that's okay. But some of these, it wouldn't make sense for this just to be a dead end here. So what I did is all of these are radial from the center. So if we were to draw a line from the center of the circle straight out, that is radial with the center of the circle. And that's the rule that I followed when making these roads, was to keep them all radial like that. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down here, and you might have been wondering, like, why am I building these floating up above the ground like this? Well, it's because I want to make sure that I can then take these and move them down into the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a block right here, and I'm going to stand in here, and we're going to fill this with another color wool. So we're going to use the fill command, and we're going to do yellow wool, and we're going to do 100 in diameter, 1 block deep. And it's going to take a second for that. There we go. Oh, I'm underneath. But that's what I wanted. You see how we can get rid of that block. Okay, so here we filled this whole area with yellow wool. And we're going to have to do this a couple times to fill the whole thing. And then I'm going to move it down into the ground to be flush with the ground. And then I'll use World Edit to replace these with whatever blocks I want to be the road blocks. And I'm doing 2 different colors here because the red is going to be something for a sidewalk, and then the yellow is going to be the actual road. So I'm going to go around, I'm going to fill this up, and then I will move this into the ground and we'll take a look at it. Okay, now I have this entire area completely filled with yellow wool. That was a quick and easy process. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down here, and let's get my wooden axe. Now I do have to be careful up in this area that I don't accidentally move some of this hill. So maybe I'll come back and get that area last. But I'm going to come to right here. And then if we go way down here, I'm going to try to get a big chunk of it here to move down. We should be able to do this much of it all at once. But I don't think we could do all of it all at the same time, but I'm going to do at least this much. So we're going to do move 2 down, and then we're going to do -A for minus air, so we're only moving the wool blocks. Let's see, did I do that wrong? I think I need a space between the 2 and the D. There we go. So now we can see all of that is now flush with the grass. And we should see a big part of this over here is as well. Kind of looks like the yellow brick road from Wizard of Oz, doesn't it? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let's see, we'll come down here, and just to make sure I don't get any of that hill, I think I'll just go, well, let's see, maybe I'll just do this in little pieces here. I think we'll be okay to do that much of it at once. Yeah, we're okay. And then I think I won't have to worry about it again after this area. Yep, there we go. So that's good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move everything down, and I'll see you after I've done that. Okay, now I have all of the wool moved down to the ground. So we're going to come down here and we're going to take a look at this road area. And I'm going to try to come up with a road design here. So here's what I'm thinking. You know, you have the road area, which is going to be down here. And then you have sidewalks up here. So I was going to try to do something a little bit different here. Because this is a futuristic city. And kind of what I'm envisioning is that this is maybe not built on Earth. That this is maybe a place that has been colonized, like another planet, and they have had a chance to harvest the materials from the planet that they're on. So maybe it's not going to be the same colors as what we would have here on Earth. But I do still like the idea of a black road. So maybe we'll do like something like a very, very fancy looking sidewalk made out of quartz. Maybe that's what we're going to go with, is something kind of like this. I think I like that. I'm gonna expand this out a little bit. We're going to just stack this down a little bit to see what it looks like. Let's go a little further. Yeah, I think I like that because, let's see, this is quartz. This is smooth quartz. Yeah, I want the quartz because I like the breaks in it so that it looks like individual sections of sidewalk. Like normally you would never see a sidewalk this white unless somebody painted it, but it would lose its color really quickly. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use World Edit here, and we're going to do, let's see, we're going to do a cylinder of quartz blocks, and we can do this pretty big. So that's bound to that, and then we're going to do a mask of red wool. Now we can just click and replace all this. There are other ways I could do this, like I could select areas and just replace all the red wool with the quartz. But it's kind of a pain to try to select the outer boundaries of it. And then sometimes you end up with an area that's way too big for World Edit to be able to do it all at once, because there are limitations on servers, which I think I mentioned before in this video. I've been recording this one over the course of a couple weeks, just because I haven't had time to record like I normally would like to. I'm actually trying to get back into the routine of creating these videos. It's been a little bit sporadic as of late, and I really would like to get back to uploading weekly like I used to do. And so, yeah, I'm trying to get back into this a little bit. And some of this was, just trying to figure out exactly what I was going to be doing with this, kind of thinking through some ideas. And I think I'm finally ready to get back to this. And, some of this stuff, like this terraforming and city layout part, does take a little while. But once we have this part done, I think we'll be able to get focused on building buildings and filling out the city. And it's going to go a little bit more easily for me then. Okay, come on. Last part here. There we go. So, just like that, all the sidewalks in place. Now, I do see this one piece of red wool floating up here. One piece that did not get moved down. So we'll just, we'll just manually put that there. And so some areas like this that just kind of dead end at the edge of the water, I am going to do some work around those to terraform them a little bit, just so that you don't come to the end of it and find yourself driving into the ocean. So I am going to work on that a little bit. Now, to replace the yellow wool, let's see. So we've got blackstone slabs, polished blackstone slabs, and what is this one called? Polished blackstone brick slabs. What else do we have here as far as slabs go in the blackstone? So it is just those three. So here's what we're going to do. Going to change our brush here, and we're going to once again do a cylinder. And we're going to do blackstone slab type bottom, polished blackstone brick slab type bottom, comma, polished blackstone slab. And now we can do mask yellow wool. So if we start clicking here, oh, I forgot to set the radius on this. So let's make this 50. There we go. Look at that. Magically have roads appearing. You can do this, like I said, selecting the whole area and doing it all at once. But I don't know. This is kind of satisfying. Just replacing the yellow wool like this, just with this paintbrush going through. So one thing about these roads, if they were actually real roads in real life, they're very poorly designed, which I can say that. You really wouldn't want an intersection like this, but I really liked the idea of two intersecting circles like that. Intersection like that's not so bad, but like this would be awful because you have two intersections right on top of each other. That would be a very, very poor intersection layout. Some of these turns can be kind of tight the way that I have them on here, but you know what? This isn't real. This is Minecraft. And I'm not building for realism here. I am building to make it look nice. And so if certain things seem a little bit unrealistic about this, that's perfectly okay because it doesn't have to function in real life. I'm going for aesthetics here. Like this road over here. This would be a very, very bad intersection. Like you would never want roads to line up like this. You would want a 4-way intersection. You don't want something like this. And I've seen roads like this in real life, and it's always bad. It's a bad intersection, you know? So, like I said, that's not what I'm concerned about for building this. I'm just concerned about making something that looks cool. So that is it for the roads. We've got them all laid out. I'm pretty happy with this. Let's look at it on the map here. Some yellow is still showing there. It hasn't updated on the map. I have to move closer to it. But it is all done, and I like how this looks. I think that will work. That looks pretty cool. But I think that is where I'm going to have to end this episode. It's taken me a long time just to get all the terraforming done and get these roads laid out. And I'm pretty happy with where we are. This is just the very, very beginning of this series, and there's a long way to go because all of this area is going to get filled up with buildings and parks and various things. And I have a lot of ideas for what I'm going to do with this. But like I said, that's it for this episode. And if you like this episode, please click the like button and leave a comment down below. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'll see you next time.